Hello and welcome back to the Azure DevOps course. In this lesson, we'll explain how to use functions in Azure DevOps YAML pipelines. So let's start. I have made a pipeline to demonstrate how to use the functions in YAML pipelines. I will go to it. So let's start. Here I have some variables that we will use through the pipeline, and that is the job that will run the steps for the pipeline. So we have three types of functions: comparison function, logical function, and string functions. We will start with the comparison functions. So that is the syntax of using the functions. First, we use the compile time expression, $sign and double curly brackets, then double curly brackets at the end. And then inside this compile time expression, we start typing the function name, like equal this is a function name, and then round the brackets, and then the parameters of the function. Here equal takes two parameters, first parameter and the second parameter. So that is the format of the function. So now I use this function inside an echo script to check if the variable first equal 10. If the variable first equal 10, this compile time expression will be substituted by true. So when we print here, it will be true. Okay, variable first equal 10. So it should print true. That is for equal. NE means not equal function. Here I use the not equal function to see if variable first equal variable second. Variable second equal 20. So now not equal. Variable first, the variable second will return to true, because the variable first not equal to the variable second. So that is not equal function will be substituted by true. And here GT means greater than. So when I use the greater than function, this function will check if the variable second greater than variable first. Variable second equal 20, variable first equal 10, so 20 is greater than first. And here GE function means greater than or equal. So here I check if the variable second greater than or equal 20, variable second equal 20, so it is equal to the second parameter, which is 20. So the greater than or equal function will return true. So here it will print true. LT means lesser than. So here variable first will be less than variable second, because variable first is 10, variable second 20. So the less than will return true. Here LE means less than or equal. So here variable first equal 10. Second parameter equals 10. So 10 equals 10. It will be lesser than or equal. Lesser than or equal will return true. So that is for the comparison functions. We can use this comparison functions through our pipelines. And we can also use it in the if conditions. We will explain the if conditions in the next lecture. So that is how to use a comparison function. So second, I will explain the logical functions. We have three logical functions: and or, and not. Here and takes two parameters. Here it takes two parameters. This parameter, and this parameter. So here we check if variable env equal prod and variable feature equal enable. If the two both are true, this expression will return true. So variable env equal prod and feature enabled. So this and expression should return true. And here we use or function, takes two parameters, this parameter and this parameter. Variable env equal prod, not equal dev. So this equal will return false, but this equal feature enabled will return true. So false or true will return true. So this or expression or function will return true. It will be substituted by true, and not complement true by false and false by true. Here the variable feature equal enabled. It is not equal disabled. So this equal function will return false. When you have false inside not function will make it to be true. So this expression will be substituted by true. That is for the logical functions. We can use it through our pipelines: the and the or, and the not. For the string functions, we have a lot of string functions that we can use to work with strings. First, here we have the start with function. Start with text, here a text, and compare them to see if the first word starts with the second text. So the variable word here equal Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps starts with Azure. So here this function should return true, because the variable word, which is Azure DevOps, starts with Azure. So this function will return true. It will be substituted by true. And here ends with, check if this variable word ends with ops. The variable word is Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps ends with ops. So this function will return true. the ends with. And we have also a function called contains. It only checks if this variable, if this parameter here contains this text. This parameter here word is Azure DevOps. Azure DevOps contains the dev text. So yes, this function will return true. Contains function. And here, this is lower function. The lower function takes only one parameter. It takes a string and return this string to be only lowercase letters. So this function convert our parameter to be only lowercase. It will return a lowercase letter. So notice now this function return string. It doesn't return a boolean true or false. So it will return the lowercase string here, and the upper is the opposite of the lower. It will return the uppercase string. It only takes the one parameter, which is the string, and return it to be uppercase. And here is a function called length. This is the last function in the lecture. The length function returns the length of the word. It takes a string and returns its length. So it returns a number which is the length of the string that we give it. So let's try and run this pipeline and see the output. So the pipeline has finished. If you go to the equal script, it returns 10 equal 10 equal true. It returns true. The function returns true. Not equal returns true. Returns true. Returns true. Greater than or equal. Less than 10 less than 20 returns true. Less than or equal true. And here the AND function returns true, or returns true, not returns true. And the start with function for the string Azure DevOps starts with Azure, so it's equal true. Ends with Azure DevOps ends with ops, equal true. Contains, the contains function Azure DevOps contains dev, equal true. Okay. And here the lowercase function, it returns prod word to be lowercase prod. And here the upper function turns the feature which is enabled, lowercase enabled, to be uppercase enabled. And the length of Azure DevOps word, it returns the length in numbers. That is the length number, 11 letter. So okay, we have finished now. That's the end of our lecture. We have explained the YAML pipelines functions, the logical functions, the comparison functions, and the string functions. I hope you enjoy it and see you in the next lecture.